Hey everybody, Tara Green here. I want to talk about the Libra solar eclipse. Now, this is an annular solar eclipse. That means it'll be like a ring. It won't be total. It won't be visible in North America. It'll be visible from Easter Island, actually. Famous Easter Island, a very spiritual place, and over the Pacific. So the places where the eclipse shadow covers is what's going to be the most affected, but we all will feel it. Now, it is October the 2nd at 11:49 a.m. That's Pacific Daylight Time, and 2:49 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 7:49 p.m. That's Greenwich Mean Time. So again, it's going to be happening in the day for us in the in the northern hemisphere here. But let's look at the chart here. I have filled in some of the lines here, and now I just wanted to point out that this eclipse at 10 degrees Libra is connected to two fixed stars. One is called Parima at 9 degrees, which is a star of prophecy, an ancient Roman goddess called Parima, which was good for astrologers and writing and people who wanted to be leaders, and also the fixed star called Vindamayatrix. So they're both conjunct the sun and the moon. Vindamayatrix means the winemaker, and of course the constellation of Virgo is all about the virgin goddess Ceres or Demeter, harvesting the produce of the land and the grapes, of course, and she's also known as the widow maker. Now, the newly discovered planet Make is also at 10 degrees of Libra, right on the sun and the moon. So that's something else to consider. Also, there's that little mini moon, which is a little something going around in the sky, and then this very ancient asteroid also visible in the sky in the early morning, which is on an 80,000-year orbit. Now, that one's really struck me as being very, very powerful. So all of these comets and mini-moons there until November, these are harbingers, these are oracles, especially with the symbol of this ancient oracle connected to the moon, that star connected to the moon, Parima. These are oracles, and traditionally comets were always harbingers of deaths of kings and queens, and there's Prince Charles and even Princess Kate there, death of leaders, and of course Donald Trump keeps, they keep trying to knock him out there. So not a good sign, really. Okay, now you got to remember, you never, never, never do any manifestation on any eclipses, solar or lunar. The effects of a lunar eclipse, anything positive or negative that you put out on a lunar eclipse is magnified 100,000 times. And so traditionally, eclipses were feared, and you would there were certain prohibitions, things you didn't do, like have sex or wash your hair. Pregnant women were not allowed to go out in them, and so basically chanting mantras or sending prayers of goodwill to the world is a good thing. It also happens to be the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, one of the most holy days of the year, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in Israel there. So you can see the aspects here now. If it's a Libra solar eclipse, it is ruled by the planet Venus, and there's Venus there at 11 degrees Scorpio. So basically she's only 30 degrees away. That's called a semi-sextile. But anyway, Venus in Scorpio makes it much more intense of an energy. And also the sun and the moon are conjunct Lilith, one of my go-to goddesses, and Mercury there. So it's very much about communicating the dark goddess energy, which has been totally denied and suppressed from the beginning of the patriarchy, from the beginning of the Jewish Old Testament. The story that wasn't told, that was really prohibited, was about Lilith being the first woman created by God with Adam, because God has two masculine and two feminine sides. That's polarity of everything in this universe. And so, God puts Adam and Lilith in the Garden of Eden, and then Adam tries to dominate Lilith. And she says, no, you can't trick me like that. And because she's the goddess and because she can speak God's name, she leaves paradise and goes to live by the Red Sea, leaving Adam all alone. Now, the fact that she goes to live by the Red Sea, got to remember, these are myths, just like Greek myths, Viking myths, whatever myths from all over the world. Because she goes to live by the Red Sea, that is a symbol that she's tied to menstrual blood. So menstrual blood was considered to be a very sacred substance. Science is rediscovering that. So she's considered to be a death-bringing goddess in a way. It's the end of a cycle. And before the patriarchy, every woman was honored as a goddess because her body was a miracle and magnificent, and she bleeds in concert with the moon, and she conceives. Self-conceiving was what was done and what most people saw. They didn't realize that men had anything to do with it. And she can nurse her baby, and everybody worshiped Mother Earth, and so the goddess was revered in her dark and her light aspects. And so Lilith, being the dark aspect, connected to the new moon, represents a new beginning. This is a new moon. So this is a very Lilithian new moon, I would say. Mercury is right there as well, and the Sun and Mercury just had a conjunction in Cazimi on the 30th. And so that's Mercury's kind of, while that time was on, still kind of in this golden blessing stage. So very intense emotionally, a lot of deep shadow work. Time for good deep shadow work, and to find some balance and to find some peace within ourselves by examining our motivations, how we're seen by other people. This is a time of big projections, of course, with Neptune at 28, 29 degrees of Pisces sextiling Pluto. And that's, all involved there. There's Pluto, 29 degrees. Pluto's not moving. Pluto's 29 degrees Capricorn until November the 19th. Neptune's at 28, retrograde, moving backwards now, sextile. Saturn at 14 degrees of Pisces is actually in conjunct the Sun and the Moon, Mercury and Lilith. So there's, again, this kind of karmic blind spot there. So really keep examining the things that you can't see, the things that are the most hidden from your own consciousness. So Saturn in Pisces right now is a very interesting place because a lot of those deep, dark secrets are coming up. You can see that also with P. Diddy and all these old sex abuse people. That's all coming out. That's Pluto at the last degree of Capricorn as well. With Neptune, they're all kind of relevant, to this energy. Now, Mars at 15 degrees of Cancer, right in the middle degree of Cancer. Mars is weak in Cancer because it's exalted in Pisces, but it is also squaring the Sun and the Moon, make Lilith and Mercury there, and also squaring Chiron in Aries. So Chiron in Aries there is, again, a wide opposition to Lilith. So there's, again, feeling the deep woundings and the defenses and where we've been the most defensive, even with ourselves. I do believe that there's an opportunity for a great breakthrough here. I just had one myself, actually. So I'm, speaking from my own experience, okay? I didn't mark it here, but Pluto and Jupiter are also in conjunct each other. And in conjunct is where two planets are invisible to each other, blind spots, they can't see each other. Jupiter, again, is trining Mercury there, Lilith kind of widely. Then there's this big square here, Mars opposite Ceres, the Great Mother, at 11 degrees of Capricorn, and the Sun and the Moon. So again, there's that tension, things that are hidden. Mars in Cancer is very passive-aggressive. And again, anger boiling away underneath the surface. Also, I think I read somewhere that this has caused the volcanoes in Hawaii to start up. And of course, there's been that horrible storm Helene, and I didn't mark it here, but I've heard that there's an asteroid Helene, and she's also very close to the Sun and the Moon. The asteroid Vesta, the root word of investments, is up there at also 15, 16, looks like 18 degrees of Virgo, opposite Saturn and Pisces. So stuff with Earth, with resources. Apparently a bunch of thousands of dock workers are going on strike on the 1st on this eclipse, and it's going to stop ports with goods and coming through, so there could be big shortages there. And of course, that Hurricane Helene has wiped out, Asheville, North Carolina, a bunch of cities, small towns there as well. So flooding, like Saturn and Pisces is flooding, Neptune and Pluto is flooding. Okay, so we're trying to make some peace. I don't think the Middle East is going to be very peaceful anytime soon, to tell you the truth. Chiron there opposite Mercury, too defensive, too aggressive. I just don't think that's the way it's going. I think they have a pre-planned plot to start World War III, actually. And then Pluto and Uranus are trining each other, with Uranus at 26 degrees of Taurus. Now, some of the planets in October, very soon, are going to start to go retrograde. So Jupiter is going to go retrograde on the 9th. Pluto will turn direct on the 11th. And I'm going to be talking about the October Astrology live with tarot card readings tonight for the Cosmic Intelligence Agency on their main Facebook page. So if you can join me there, I've been sick with a cold. You can hear I'm a little bit stuffed up here. That would be great. So if you have any planets, I would say I use very tight orbs for eclipses. You can see the south node is there at 6 degrees of Libra. If you have any planets, I would say from even 8 to 10, that's a bit wide, 8 to 12 degrees Libra, then you are really in the focus of this eclipse. So it's, again, remember these cycles repeat every 18 plus years. So the last one was back in 2006. So you want to look back at where you were at. I believe that Dame Maggie Smith died on one of the previous eclipse cycles. That was just going to happen now, and so may she rest in peace. Again, Ceres, the Great Mother there. A lot of mother-child healing wound stuff going on here. So you want to focus on what brings you peace, what brings you balance, where you're out of balance, what you can do to bring it all together. And be a peacemaker within yourself first. So if you want to get in touch with me, I'm at tarottarot.com, sending all the best blessings.